What up, guys? We're here for our first live, no delay study session stream with our boy Crazysixes. He's going to be calling me in a minute. This is for Pokercoaching.com. You can see the ad right down there. There's the banner, exclamation point, PC for details. And this is the Poker Coaching site. Basically, you go to Pokercoaching.com. And when you log in, you'll get to the dashboard here. One cool thing about the way the site's set up, because I've taken a few of these quizzes as a little bit of a warm-up, see what I was getting myself into, kind of see how they work, which is cool, is that it's really interactive. And in a lot of ways, you're studying with these coaches, even though they're not one-on-one. They are kind of talking to you and talking through their thought process, which I think is cool. In your dashboard, you can see there's 562 quizzes, 32 different homeworks you can do, and then they let you join the webinars. This is the premium setup. So this is what you get with the premium setup. With the free setup, you get a few less quizzes, a few less homeworks, and I don't know if you get access to the webinars or not, but you can go to the sign up page and see what you get for the free versus the premium. And here it is. So the dashboard is really cool. For this, we're going to click on the quizzes, and here you go. There's all the quizzes. You can see the different coaches. We got Assassinato. We got Jonathan Little, Matt Affleck on here as well. You can sort these by tournament or by cash game. We're going to do tournaments because that's where we live. That's where we live, you know? And yeah, so here you go. And you get points based on different answers. Some points are, or some answers are worth more points. Some are close, so you'll get like a 9 or an 8 out of 10. You can see some of these I already did. And as you do them, you gain these points. You can buy more study stuff in the store. So incentive to take the quizzes and do the homework is to get more credits, points, so that you can buy more study stuff, you know, as you go along. Ginger already in the house. She can't miss study time. She said she was taking a break. She couldn't stay away. We can't blame her. We can't blame her. What's up, Ginger? Good to see you guys. We're going to give people a few minutes to get warmed up. I know Sixes is out there doing his intro as well. If you want to watch us both at the same time, there's a link right there. Link for Pokercoaching.com on there as well. And there you go. So yeah, let me fix that screen. Multi. So yeah, I was wondering if I should put some music on as well, but I think that might just drown out the talk here. So I decided not to for the moment. If you guys think that would be better, let me know. All right, cool. Cool. Sorry, let me get this out of the way. That's the new YouTube video coming out. That's pretty exciting. Finished our little WSOP adventure YouTube video. So that will be coming out later in the day as well. Stay tuned for that. It was all the clips from the vlog and some of the online clips and all that good stuff. So that coming along. Let's take a look at this while we're waiting. Oh, never mind. There he is. There he is.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow.
Can you hear me okay, buddy?
Yes. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. How you doing?
Good. Just just going through the site, just a quick little overview. I've been on here a little, done a few of the quizzes, but there's so much.
Yeah, you can see
9 quizzes, dude.
I've done a bunch of these quizzes myself, just kind of testing them out here. And you can see, like, I did them, and then it was only a couple of days. They come out really fast. I believe our quizzes, both quizzes that I created and quizzes that Sixes created, will be on the site, I believe, next week, I think is what Justin said.
Yeah, so next week, I've done a few. They were fun. They're fun to create, man.
Super fun to create.
Going back through the situations and breaking them down. So yeah, it's good times.
I added a new tag to my poker tracker now for this, and so when I'm playing live on stream, I kind of just click hands like good one to talk about, good one to talk about, good one to talk
Yeah,
about.
I've done that. Like good when a reviewer possibly uses a quiz.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, you want to do a basic overview of the site? Like, what's your experience with it? You know, you probably use it a little bit more than I have. I've been busy, super busy. I've done a few quizzes, but I don't know why they're not tracked. I think I were doing them outside of my account or something.
Yeah. I went over it a little bit, but starting at the dashboard when you log in, you get all these quizzes. Sixes and I both have the premium membership, so we get a little more access to things than you do if you
Right.
sign up for the free one. But with the free one, you do get a certain amount of quizzes, and I'm gonna look at them now so I know what the hell I'm talking about. A certain amount of quizzes, a certain amount of homeworks, and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's always the webinars, which are really good. I love the webinars. I mean, you get a Fitzgerald and Affleck and all those guys.
Yeah, you get access to
The Poker
killers.
Brains. Yeah, I definitely watch the webinars occasionally. They're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 500 plus quizzes for the free setup and 40 plus webinars. So even that alone's got an incredible amount of value, right? If you
Right.
guys want to sign up for the free, you can do !PC in either my chat or Six's chat, and you can get a link there so you guys can check it out. Sign up for free. Take some of these quizzes on your own if you find out this is valuable for you. And I was saying one of the things I really like about the way this site is set up, because when I coach, I really like the one-on-one aspect of it. When you're dealing with someone face to face, I think it just sticks more than some of those other sites out there where it's just video subscription. You're just watching 2-hour videos and going numb in your brain.
Right.
And this way, like Jonathan, Alex Fitzgerald, Matt Affleck, me, Sixes, they're kind of talking at you and talking through the thought process. And then when you make your decision, we come back into the next video and say, oh, this is the decision that was best, and this is why these decisions are close or not
Yep.
even close.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of getting that one-on-one without, Jonathan Little having to talk to thousands of people, directly, which is, not feasible, not scalable.
Right. Yeah. I like the quizzes because they give you wrong answers as well that, some of the general population may use or think is best, or, tendencies that other people have, and they're just not right. And then they kind of tell you why that may not be correct in that situation. So I always find that kind of stuff valuable.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Real quick shout outs. Royal Red, what's up? Twirl Spin, what's up? Marlon, what's up? Thanks for coming, Marlon. Twirl says you get 20 quizzes to start, so there you go. So even that is just valuable in itself. I mean, if you get a free 20 quizzes from a guy who's got millions in winnings, or guys with millions in winnings, go get them. Go get them.
Just shipped something for 96, so yeah.
Cool.
All right, you want to pick a couple of these? Which ones? I know. Let's find something new. Let's find one that neither
of us have done. So
yeah.
I see, if I'm looking at the site here, the Jonathan Little 3K with the queens.
Yes.
If we start, no, I did that one. Start with the twos.
Okay, yeah, let's start with these twos in the 3K WSOP 42 basic. So
twos never lose, right? All right, so we're gonna run this, right? We're gonna play the video, let everyone kind of hear the little commentary, and then when the video is done, we'll talk it out and let you guys kind of jump in with some ideas.
Fuck, my dimensions suck here. I gotta figure out something. All right, let me do something. No, I got it.
You let me know when you're ready.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, playing the video. Let's check this out.
Let me know if you can hear Toe in my stream.
I can't hear yours.
All right, cool. I'm gonna play it on mine as well. First part.
Guys out there, if the sound on the video isn't great, let me know. I actually missed the whole damn little intro.
I might have to up the sound.
Yeah, we'll work out the kinks. This is the first one. So there you go. The question is twos. Should we raise it? Should we not, guys? We can just fold. We can limp in. We can raise to 3K, or we can raise to 4K. So I'll give you guys a chance out there to kind of make your decisions while you're waiting for it. Touch on the video, says Red. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if they could hear mine. Oh, shoot, hold on. I don't know if the sound issues. Can you guys hear Toe in my stream?
I think they can hear us okay. I think the video is a little low.
Oh, okay, yeah. Wait a minute, I'm going to ask my chat.
All right, let me play this video again real quick so I can hear it.
Here we have
Yeah.
Pokercoaching in a $3,000
Let me make
World Series
sure.
poker event against the same opponent I just played against, although that doesn't really matter so much. Same opponent.
I don't think they can hear you in mine. Damn it.
Flip around to
Let
me.
me see.
Should
I
we
can definitely hear
fold,
mine.
All right, cool.
raise to 3,000, or raise to 4,000?
I can hear him better now.
I know what I'm doing with these twos. You know what you're doing, sixes?
In the small blind,
Folds to the small blind, yes.
folds to the small blind, and we got a big blind there. Does he have any information on him here? Did he say? So our options are fold, which is not an option, call, raise to 3,000, raise to 4,000. Huh. I mean, no information on this player. I'm probably just gonna call.
That's interesting.
I mean, we could probably just raise to 4K. We are 60 bigs deep, but
yeah, I was thinking raise 3K. It's funny you say that. And if I was going to raise it, but I think calling's a really viable option here as well. Rich says he's raising to 3,000. Marlon's raising to 3,000. I think that's a viable option. I'd be surprised if there's a huge point difference between 3K and calling. And I definitely think with a hand like twos, we should be kind of working both in, right? A little bit of mixed frequency, even though I know that's kind of a cheating answer.
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like either or, right? Raising. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely between. It just depends a lot on our opponent. Like with no information, and I think they may be weak. I'm probably just gonna raise, a majority of the time.
I think so too.
If they're sticky, kind of aggressive, calling and playing some flops is fine. So,
Absolutely, and I think that's viable. I think depending on my opponent, I definitely switch it up. When I have a super aggro opponent in the big line, I'm always going to just call because if they raise, now I can call or I can come over the top depending on the stack size, and I can
right.
kind of negate their maniacal tendencies. But if someone's passive, I'm raising it for sure. And if
All
it's
right,
someone I don't
cool.
know, I'm always going to kind of raise and touch the iron first.
Yeah.
Find out.
So we got in my chat. What do you got? What's the consensus over there right now? Shipit says call. What do you think, AK Jordan? What's up, my dude?
Everyone in my chat's talking about raising 3K.
Raise 3K. All right, so let's.
I'm going to stick to raise 3K myself.
I'm gonna hit call.
Oh,
We got somebody who said
controversy.
call. Let's see what happens. So okay, Shipit, we're gonna call here. All right.
I'm doing 3K. Let's see. Oh, 3
Call.
points.
This is, again, a situation
The
where
call is better.
in the small blind,
Hey.
The call is better.
We call it, baby.
hands like pocket two.
Let's see what Jonathan Little has to say.
This is, again, a situation where once I'm in the small blind and they
There we
fold to
go.
me, I am limping the vast
Listen.
majority of my range. With hands like pocket twos, you may think there's merit to raising because if you raise, whatever your opponent folds has plenty of equity, and, that's true to some extent. But when you raise hands like this and your opponent calls, it's always a pretty rough spot. And just not a whole lot of good can happen when you raise, besides you just steal the pot, which, stealing the pot would be great too. But I think in general, in this scenario, you just want to be limping most of your range. If you are going to raise, you want to raise to 4,000 to give yourself a decent amount of fold equity. You definitely do not want to make it 3,000, which is what a lot of players do. Because when you make it 3,000, your opponent's getting amazing odds to call from in
Absolutely.
So in this spot, just call, see the flop. But this time my opponent decides to ruin it for me. He raises to 4,200. Should we fold, call, re-raise to 11,000, or go all in?
Interesting spot here. So John said he likes the flat better. I can totally see it. We kind of talked about that a little bit.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
The
Like
guys
when
in
he
my
went.
chat are saying they feel like they can rep more hands by raising and twos just
Damn.
lose. But I think like limp leading is a totally viable option if you get the check behind. And we can limp lead with twos a lot, and limp lead is a great tool. That works a lot.
Okay, so yeah, they couldn't hear the audio. They couldn't hear Jonathan's audio on my end. Essentially, he was just saying like, you want to limp. He's going to limp a vast majority of his range here, and if he does raise, he likes to use a bigger sizing simply because playing this out of position isn't going to be great under many circumstances, and we're just going to be put in a tough spot a lot. Using the fold equity is great, nice stealing the pot here, but probably just limping the vast majority of his range, and then we do get raised to 4,200.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is if we do raise and he comes over the top, we just have to fold our twos for 41 bigs, right? Like we're not taking that one to
If
the
he's
bank.
like, yeah, if he three bets ever, like, what do you know? But with
Oh,
that being said,
when he makes it 4,200 though, what do you think?
I still think it's a little bit too. I don't like re-raising or going all in. It's only, I mean, this is pretty straightforward call.
How short would your chip stack have to be for you to jam over the top of this, to limp jam?
I mean, 40 big blinds feels like it's a bit too much.
I agree. Would you do it for 30?
So maybe, if we're gonna take these, in the 20-ish big blind region, but I think it's more of how much fold equity do we have against villain and what's their stack as well. But yeah, twos. Yeah, I'm just probably gonna maybe in the 20-ish big line, 23, 24, maybe even 25 would be good.
Yeah, I'm kind of the similar thing. I think I would just jam like if I was 15 and under, 16-ish, something like that, and then limp jam 18 to like 25. I may get crazy, but I'm not going above 30 blinds. That's for sure.
Right.
So somewhere between 25 and 30, I would think that'd be a viable option. You said call here. We need 3,000 to set mine, right? 3,000 is the call. So we need 45K to set mine. Oh, we got that. 48.8. So
yeah, it's a call. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think we fold.
I'm down with call. Roy Red says we're getting calls. Rich says that's why he loves taking these quizzes, always learning new lines. That's what we do, right? Getting our learn on. I love studying too. I don't know about you sixes, but like I have ADD and I like to play, and so school was tough. But for some reason, I can study. Well, we study all the time.
Oh, we study all
I study all day, every day. I can't get enough. All right, so call it is. Yeah, we all agree and call.
Yep.
Call it.
I mean, anybody doing anything else?
Calls 10 points. We win.
Yeah, that's cool.
Looking good.
All right, I'm a mute. Actually, can you turn a bit? Maybe they can hear your audio better than they can hear the audio playing on mine. I'm just trying to figure out the way.
I can walk you through how to make it better, but I don't know if these people want to listen to the tape.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll just turn it up to the max and see if that does a damn thing and be very quiet.
All right, I'll turn it up on my side and see if that works. If the echo works. Hang on.
When you limp with essentially any hand, the goal is not to fold unless it's particularly bad. And obviously twos are not particularly bad, right? So in this scenario, we are going to call. We are limping.
All right, yeah, go ahead and mute it. It sounds good now.
Notice here we have to put in 3,000 more chips from out of position,
which
is fine because we're putting in 30% of what's going to be the total 10,000 chip pot. So will we realize 30% equity with pocket twos from out of position? And the answer is yes. And to our opponent's credit, they did a good job raising on the large side. From our opponent's perspective, if they raise to 3,000, as again, you see a lot of people do, now we have to put in 1,800 to win a pot that's going to be like 7,000, 7,500. And obviously 1,800 and 7,500 is just amazing for me because I'm going to realize 20% equity, no problem. But 30 is a little bit more difficult, but with a hand like twos and with a lot of the reasonable limping range that you should be limping with, you do need to call and then check essentially every flop. So flop comes queen 10-7. We are going to check fold here. But it goes check, check. And we get a pretty sweet turn. Giving us a set.
This guy runs like me.
Check. 4,000. Bet 8,000. Or bet 12,000.
Oops.
Cool. So we are getting odds to call red, and I agree, checking every flop, especially this crappy one. Pink the 2, though. Yeah. So I'll agree we have to bet, right? Guys out in the chat, let me know. You betting 4K, betting 8K, or betting 12K into the 10K pot? Sixes, what do you think, buddy?
I think I messed up my recording. Where the hell am I at? Oh, you can hear him well now? All right, cool. So let me get back to where I was at. Go ahead. You can go ahead and get through.
I'll go ahead and say. So
there we go.
I'm a bet big guy in this spot for sure. I do think when he checks back, he's got some queens, but they're all crappy queens. But there's a ton of draws out there. We can get value from 10. We can get value from pairs of 9s, pairs of 8s, pairs of jacks, and then the backdoor diamond draws and stuff. So for me, I don't know that I'm going more than pot here because he checked the flop. If he showed a bunch of aggression here, I would consider the 12K. So for me, it's going to be the 8K bet.
It's interesting here when he takes this line where he has, a range of it and he's checking here. I think we should kind of maybe polarize our range and get a big street from his jacks that may check back, his ace 10, his nines may call one. I mean, nines may not, but jacks representing a hand like ace 10, some ace jacks and things like that. But I think we use a bigger sizing. We get called from some hands as well. So I think we use 8K. I don't know if we overbet.
Yeah.
Putting 8K, wait a minute, how much would be in the pot? So 18, 16, 26, and we would have 38 behind. Maybe going 12K would be better. To be 24 plus that, man, we'd have a perfect river jam behind. But is his range ever strong enough? That's kind of where I'm at. Is his range strong enough when he checks that we can use an overbet sizing and get called 2 streets? So that's kind of where I'm conflicted.
Yeah. Oh, God. 12K, like. See, we still have all the queens in our range, right? Because we're
going to check back.
Call, and we're going to check back to the aggressor always. So when he checks back, like, I just don't know if he calls, like, the 10 or the 7 for 12. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It does give us good stack to pot ratio. I agree. In my chat, Martin's saying 12K.
What do you guys think?
12 says 8K. Ginger says 8K. Price check, what's happening? Good to see you.
Well,
Rich
like
says,
can we incorporate some sort
of donk betting here, or should we always check? I think when we limp in, I think limp leading is okay. If I had to give that like a point value out of 10 versus the check, for me, I think the limp lead, I'd probably give maybe a 6 or so. The problem is with the queen 10-7 combo, there's so many pair and draws and combos out there that worries me about the limp lead being as effective.
Yeah, I'm just afraid with using overbet, we condense the range. And then our 8K bet still gets called by all the 10X pocket jacks, and some ace kings that may have decided to, for some reason, check this back. So, yeah, I think we don't want to condense the range. I'm going to say 8K. What do you guys think? I'd actually bet 6.5, someone says.
Oh, controversy.
All right, so 6.5 is going to be 8K. We'll do 8K. All right, I'm going to click it and then whenever you're ready.
All right, guys, I'm clicking it now and we'll listen to what John has to say.
Yep.
This is obviously a great scenario for him.
It's a 9.
Check on the flop.
Oh my God, 4.
Total garbage that's giving up. In which case, checking does have some.
He wants to walk him.
Or the opponent has a marginal made hand. And more often than not, I think you're going to find that the opponent has a marginal made hand. Usually that's going to be a hand like a marginal queen that was bluffing pre-flop, like queen 3. Or maybe a 10, like ace 10 that was value raising, maybe ace 7. Maybe a hand like 8-7 that was just raising for fun. So against those hands, I definitely want to bet. And I think I want to bet either medium or large, like either 4,000 or 8,000, because those hands are just not folding to either of those sizes. I think I'd probably prefer a bet of like 6,000 best, really. If you start going too large, like 12,000, you may find that your opponent will fold out stuff like 8-7, which would be a little bit nitty, but some people will fold in that spot. So I think I like either a bet of 4 or 8,000, but if I was playing this hand today, I think I would go something like 6, because I do expect to get called here a lot. I just want to make sure I bet a size that can also allow my opponent to call a river bet if they do have top or medium pair, middle pair, maybe even a 7. So we could go 4,000, and the opponent calls. River is an ace, which is an interesting card. Should we check, bet 7,500, bet 15,000, or bet 22,500?
So one thing I wanted to say too, Six and I have talked about this on the side, and we haven't quite figured out how to facilitate it. But I would love to find a way, if you guys have any suggestions out of my stream or out in Six's stream, of a way we can kind of come up with like a leaderboard scenario where as you guys get points, we can find some way to reward you for something. Because I was just thinking the guy in your chat who said 6.5K deserves 12 points.
Casper. Yeah.
Casper gets 12 points.
He's a genius.
He went off the charts, and John agreed with. He tricked us. What's up, John? What you doing? Interesting thought I had too. I find it interesting that this is a 3K buy-in WSOP event, right? And so
Right.
I wonder if betting on the smaller, medium-ish side is better in an event like that where the field is going to be much stronger versus where you and I specialize, like 109s and under, you know,
Right.
where our opponents tend to call the bigger bets way too wide, and so we're getting more backs value. Do you think there's any validity to that?
Could be. Yeah, it's more, the player pool's just going to be weaker in general. So, yeah, I think we can get max value in those spots where here, Jonathan may be stabbing small with a lot of his range. This guy, like you said, he's not going to fold a 7, for 4K. He shouldn't, but where we're playing, guys might be just folding too tight or calling way, way too loose. So I think betting on the bigger side helps.
Yeah, and betting the 8K was 9 points, right? So like 9 out of 10. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
9
super
out of 10.
close, super
Right.
close. Which is why he probably landed on 6. He split the difference.
And I know, like you like to use the bigger bet sizing all the time as well.
I love it because our opponents, just pay off so wide. We get the max value, absolutely. Cool. So ace on the river. Choices are to bet 75K, which is a little less than half pot. 15K, closer to 2/3 pot, or over bet. What do you think?
There we go. Messing with the volume. There we go. Maybe 15K. I don't know. Maybe if we're gonna go 15K, maybe I just like an over. Do we want to go small to still try to get value from his Queen X, his 10X? Feels like Jonathan's amongst those lines now because he would have bet his hands like Ace Queen. If we go too big, he still has hands like King Jack. So maybe using a smaller sizing here, just getting called by all of the single pair hands. 15K is near pot.
Yeah, I agree.
One of these two.
It's kind of, I agree, it's one of those two as well. This is interesting because I don't know if the ace is a great card. He does have ace 10, ace 7, and then maybe ace jack and ace king that floated us with the overs in the gutter. But we bet big, so we should narrow the range, right? So that maybe the pairs, just the overs in the gutter aren't there.
Right.
So I think the ace is not a great card. Everyone in my chat saying 7.5K. Cyrus, thank you for the 14-month reset, buddy.
What's up, Bennett?
So that's kind of leading me toward 7.5 because I think if we bet 15K, the 10 folds. And then what is like jacks, 8s, and 9s? Like I think those fold for 15. I'm kind of leaning to 7.5 with the crew. Rich says 15K in my chat. What's your chat saying?
What's my chat? What do you guys think? Casper says over bet. What's up, Bennett? What do you guys? As played, wouldn't it be 7.5K? That's how I feel as well as that Z-Pack. I like a larger bet here. 15K, 7 Justin says 15K. We got 7.5K. So right now what we have is a few 7.5Ks. We got an overbet and 2 overbet. Well, 1 overbet.
So my question with the overbet for those guys who picked overbet is you're overbetting to get called by what that's worse?
I mean, we got some
ace 10, ace
7.
Shouldn't be very many queens out there.
King Queen's never
the
called.
10s and the jacks might find a fold when the ace comes and we bet the shit out of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like the overbet myself. 15K is interesting. I'm a big bet type of guy. But I think I would say 7.5K. Open stock, thank you for the 4-month reset.
He thinks ace X will call often if he overbets here.
The problem is ace X shouldn't be here too much, right? And King Jack beats us, so we don't want to value down ourselves.
Yeah, I think maybe 15K is better here.
Ooh, controversy.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like 15K, a bigger size. Because he does have enough ace jack as well. The flop went check, check.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. The overs in the gutter. Well, ace jack is 1 over and 1 gutter. Ace kings, 2 overs in the gutter. Sorry, says King Jack and you're dead. I agree, but
all right, let's do it. What do you think? I'm too curious now. I mean,
I'm so leaning towards 7.5.
All right, he's going 7.5. Bennett says 7.5.
Most of my crew said 7.5.
What's up, fam?
I'm clicking it. Let's see what happens.
All right, that's it. You're going 7.5. I'm going 15.
9 points. 15K was 10 points.
Notice that a lot of the draws missed. Like the
All right, I'm gonna
diamond
turn it
draws, we
up.
clearly bet the turn. Also, if we had a straight draw like Jack 9, we would definitely bet the turn and want to bluff the river. If we had 9-8, if we had 8-6, etc., etc. We have a pretty good amount of draws here. So I think we do need to be betting, and I think we want to bet on the big side for that reason. One potential reason to bet on the smaller side is because we're trying to get called by a queen or a 10, and clearly an ace is bad for most of those, unless we are against exactly ace queen or ace 10. But I do think from a game theory optimal point of view, we want to bet on the big side here just because we do have a lot of bluffs as well in our range. So I think I like a bet of about 15,000. You may think we need to go really big, like 22,500, but I think if we start going that big, we're going to start getting folds from hands like Jack 10 or maybe even Queen Jack, which would be clearly a disaster because that's exactly what I want to get called by. So if we are going to bet here, I think we need to go 15,000. If you can just look and tell your opponent's clearly done with a hand, 7,500 is probably fine. But
Hopefully the
in
volume's
most
better.
scenarios, I don't think we need to be going huge. I also don't think we need to check here. I think checking is particularly bad because if we check, our opponent's going to check behind with all of the medium strength hands like a queen or a 10 that we really want to get called by. So, or the hands that would call if we bet, right? If we bet, they're going to call, but if we check, they're going to check behind, and that's not good. So let's value bet. Let's go 15,000. And the opponent calls, and we win. I mentioned earlier, this is the same player we played in the previous quiz that I made, who I think we beat them out of that pot where we made a straight on the river. This time we turned a set. Every once in a while, you're just going to have someone's number, and when that happens, it's a happy day. And when that
Open
doesn't
volume
happen,
mixers.
you realize sometimes
I'm sorry.
they're just going to have better hands than you, and that is A-okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, so interesting. One thing we said, I mean, we kind of nailed the range. We agree with John through the whole thing. The one thing that we didn't think about is maybe we get called a little wider by all those hands for the reason to go 15K because we have all the missed diamond draws and the missed straight draws in our range, so they're going to call us a little wider, which is a pretty valid point. Again, 7.5 was 9 points, 15K was 10 points, so it is close.
Yeah, it's always very close in those spots, but I mean, like he's referencing or mentioning hands like Queen Jack and like just all of his queen. He's expecting even his bigger bets to still get called by second pairs here because we do still have some missed draws to Jack 9s, Jack 8s in our range when we check call. We're going to need to make plays with the backdoor flush draws and just some King X bluffs in general. That we just float and just go bet with here as a bluff. So yeah, I like it. I like the bigger bet size there.
Yeah, he kind of glossed over it, and so did we. But one
Hello?
thing, like checking, not an option, right? We want to bet the nuts. This is effectively the
You
nuts.
can't hear me.
Got to get the value. Got to get the value. Got to get the value. So make sure bet your strong hands. Don't slow play yourself to death because you just missed tons of chips.
Right. Hello, can you guys hear me now? Is my shit no audio?
We can hear you good on my end. I have the multi-stream.
Can you guys not hear me? I don't know why. Hello.
He said,
Oh, now it's good. Oh, I was like, why? I must have got trolled there. Well played.
Cool. So did pretty okay. Our pre-flop raise was frowned upon, but other than that,
What was your score? What was your
looked
score?
pretty good. Well, the pre-flop one was pretty fucked. We got 3 points for raising. So 31 was for us, and you got
39,
41?
baby.
Oh, 39.
Crushing it.
Crushing it. Yeah, cool. That was fun.
Nice. Let's do another one.
Let's do another one. We'll just go down in order, huh? $1,600 tournament, the Queen 9. Matt Affleck.
Yeah, let's do it.
I haven't seen any of his stuff yet. All right, let's play the video and see what's up.
All right, I keep having these issues with my audio in this spot. This one's only 16 seconds, so.
Does it sound better if it turns it up on my end? Was that working?
I don't know. It sounded kind of distorted. Was it better? Like, I actually got to figure out if I can turn up the mixer or whatnot. Like, I don't want to take up time to do that, but.
Yeah, I keep tweaking the audio on my end through OBS. I keep turning it down when you talk and then turning it way up when the video's playing.
Do you turn the audio output up when the video is up?
So I went into my sound volume deal for Windows, made sure that my browser volume was all the way up. And then in OBS for the video that the guys here on the stream, I'm fucking with the video where right now it's about 3/4. And then when I play the video, I put it all the way to the top.
Cool. I'm about to do that now. Thank you. All right, guys, we're going to start it.
All right, playing the video.
Yep, same here.
All right, in this hand, we're playing the Venetian 1600. We have Queen 9 off in the big blind.
Let me know.
Cutoff, so weak player. He's going to make it 1100. The button is an aggressive regular. He calls. It's on us in the big blind. Should we fold, call, raise to 3600, or raise to 5200?
All right, so right away, an awkward spot. Queen 9 in the big, wasting almost a 3x, and a call.
All right, so almost a 3x and a call, an aggressive reg, weak player. This is just it's always, I'm going to be calling here for sure.
I'm kind of a nit in this spot. Like, if I can't 3-bet or have a game that flops well, like, I run for my life. I'm actually folding it way more often than
No,
not.
but I mean, but he says, no, but he started off, there's a weak player opening and we're getting like a sick ass price. Like, I'm calling.
I get that. The problem that I have is the aggressive reg on the button who's going to make our life hell post-flop.
But the aggressive reg's probably aware of the weaker player here and just flats a much wider, weaker range, in my opinion. You know, whereas I think he would still be 3-betting and trying to get heads up with his strongish linear range. But when he overlimps, he can literally just, I mean, overcalls, he can just overcall like King 8 suited. Hands like that, Jack 8, you know, those kind of weakish hands. He doesn't want to 3-bet.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Cyrus says he might fold. Jeff says fold. War Red says he's getting good odds to call. Queen 9 opposition sucks, says Jeff. Cyrus, we have 74 bigs. If you guys can't see this well, let me...
he said maybe the 3-bet gets more merit to get a heads up with the weak player. That's fair as well. Just the 3-bet and get a heads up. I mean, I don't think folded is an option. So folds no. If we're going to 3-bet, what size are we going to use here with 70 bigs? If we're going to just go for fold equity, I would think it would be the bigger size, but I don't know.
Sorry, I'm messing with it. Guys, let me know if that looks better for you. Yeah, I mean, the one interesting thing is that, I mean, we're getting crazy odds, right? 700 into 3,200.
Right.
So for that, I guess we're kind of getting the odds to defend. God, I just like to stay out of trouble. 3-betting, I guess, is interesting. I tend to do it with a hand.
Some of the ace-X. But
Yeah,
when we do
I always
playability,
kinda like
ace-10
the,
off or something like that, ace-jack off.
I like the security blanket of having, like, you know, the blocker ace, the blocker king, something like that.
Right. Yeah, so what are you thinking here? I mean, you obviously just hit the fold button, so go ahead, hit that fold button, so we know you.
Son of a bitch.
Go ahead, fold that shit. Go ahead.
I'm conflicted because I do
I'm
think
just
we're
gonna
getting
say
good
call.
odds.
I mean, my initial thought was just to call in a spot like this deep versus a weak player, and just use it to, you know. But if I was gonna raise, I'd probably use this sizing more so.
Yeah.
It's a massive ass sizing.
Cash says 4.4. He thinks if he's going to 3-bet here, I agree that we got to go big. We're out of position. Royal Red says if he had Queen 10, he likes a 3-bet. I can see the squeeze there too, a little bit better. I know this is a quiz, and if it was a fold here, the hand probably wouldn't be here.
Right.
So just when cheating, I'm thinking it's call or 3-bet. 3,600 definitely not for me. 5,200, it's definitely 5,200 or call for me, I think.
All right. I'm gonna hit call.
I'm going to hit call.
Go ahead. Oh, you're gonna hit fold. Don't lie.
I would fold in game, but we're learning, so let's learn.
This is a
10
really
points.
close pre-flop spot. I'm going to lean call only because the weak player is in the cutoff and opened. There's a little more implied odds. But this is close. If you made it 900, we have a very easy call. Against 1,000, it's probably even a pretty easy call. But 1,100, like 2.8x, you can definitely get away with folding here. So I give folding a score of 8.
Wow.
Calling a score of 10. 3,600, 0. 5,200, 1. We called, though. Queen 9-4.
Good
Clubs. Should we check? Bet 1,000. Bet 2,000.
Yeah, we got wrecked. I got wrecked. 5,200 was a 1-pointer. Folding was actually an 8.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, calling, I'm just always going to call. You know, but I mean, if I'm ever going to squeeze a hand this bad, I'm going to use the big sizing. But I would probably never use this combo in particular to squeeze, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like I said, I had Queen 10. I like the squeeze better. He said fold is 8, so folding not that bad of a move. So I'm not that nitty. sucker. Getting the odds, I could see calling, like I said, and I guess learn something a little bit here, right? Opus Dog in my chat says Queen Nine's his favorite random hand to play, so probably getting stacked here. I hope you're kidding, buddy. Don't have a favorite hand. Play the spots. Play the spots.
Yeah, well, sixes come on now.
Martin like the raise, but he's aggressive. Casper says he's defending and folding if we don't hit the flop this deep. I think that is fine. That was the 10. Jeff says give him in the 8. So yeah, good spot. I mean, we have to check to the aggressor. I don't think there's anything to talk about here, right? No reason to just lead out. That seems cray-cray. And we want the aggressive regular in the back seat to take a stab when it checks twice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not just gonna lead out here. I would never. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it in a spot like this. No, just for me, it's gonna be check. All these options. I don't even see these options for me, but maybe he has something eye-opening that for some reason we can just be leading in this spot versus these players. So I say check. Is anyone here in my chat at least leading? And if you are leading, are you using any of these sizes with 3,900 in the pot?
Cyrus in my chat says the problem here is he never knows the donk lead or not. I have a comment on that, but I want to give your chat a chance to talk before I spoil it.
Yeah, anybody dunk leading here in my chat? I have no leading range, but it says neither do I. Casper says check raise, depending on the size of it. Nah, check sizzle.
Yeah, so like the problem with donk leading here, Cyrus, is like, what are we trying to get called by? And I guess I could see a donk leading here if it was a limped pot. Because in a limped pot, there's less likely for someone to bet in the back seat. But when there's a bet in front, like everybody c-bets too much in general, right? So I'm going to check expecting a c-bet out there. And then again, I don't want any spoilers, but we'll decide if we're going to check raise or check call at that point. So that's why I'm not betting for value, Marlon, because I want all the bluffs in there to c-bet it and get that. And anything that we're getting value from, we're going to get value from anyway. So it's about getting the bluffs.
Not only that, I mean, there just comes a time if we lead here, it can just come disastrous card on the turn, and then we end up, checking. I just think we don't end up barreling it off. We have a hard time just going bat on some runouts.
Very interesting. I think that's fair. Like a king, a 10, a jack, a club, not great cards.
And we're just putting in we just get put in a really tough spot. We get put in the fucking cage so easy.
Super awkward. You have to check and then check cringe call and then check evaluate river, and life sucks. So yeah, I agree. So everybody check it. Let's check. See what happens. Go listen to the video.
Hopefully the volume was it better last time, guys? All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going. All right. Hopefully it was better.
10 points for the check.
I put a quiz in here just to hammer home the point that you shouldn't be leading here from the big blind unless it's a really low quality board, like 3-4-5, 4-5-3, deuce 3-4. You want to be leading boards that are much better for your ranges than the opponents. Any of these with a Broadway card, you should just always 100% check. So this is a check is a score of 10. Betting 1,000, 0. Betting 2,000, score of 5. And the only reason I give it 5 is because there's a weak player in the pot, and we can get him to stack off. So we check, weak player checks, and the aggressive regular bets 1,600. Should we fold, call, raise to 4,500, or raise to 6,500?
All right, hopefully this sounds better there.
All right, so Matt agreed with everything we said, and we do get the lead. And now the question is, do we walk them or do we go for a check raise? Cyrus is saying 4,500 right out the gate. With 1,600 out there.
That's pretty. I mean, I think 4,500 is a hair small, but there are other options. I probably.
So 1,600 is 2.8, and 6,500 is 4x for the re-raise. Jeff says he's just calling, letting him hang himself. Opus says 10 to balance all options here, but lowest frequency is the donk bet. I think donk bet's pretty bad. Personally on that one, because like I said, we get c-bets so much. Pro says 4,500, 2.8. Where do you lie? Sixes? Balancing your fold range?
Balancing my fold range here, just open just mock it. No, I'm kidding.
This ain't the one.
No, I'm certainly check raising. This configuration, I think, is 6,500 too much. For relative to the size of the pot, I'd probably just like to use a bigger sizing. Calling He can just check back turns too often and get to realize on river for such a good price. He's only going 40% pot. I'm probably just going to use a bigger sizing. He has some queen X in his range and some draws he may want to stack off with if we use a bigger sizing, and we could get win a bigger pot. So I'm probably just going to go 65. But I mean, there's 5,500 out there with the 1,600.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're out for a few reasons. One, we're out of position. Two, we're super deep. Three, I think the club draws, other Queen X hands are coming along. Four, I think if he's got junk, we're not getting another street out of him anyway.
Right.
Because we have the Queen and the 9. It's not like we're going to push off another 9. I think that's pretty frequent. So yeah, I'm at 6,500 myself. King of the 10 would be scary on the turn. They say 6,500. Yeah, and while it is scary, I think it's all about getting that value, kind of like what we said with the 2s.
Yeah, I completely agree. Some people are saying, can we just let the aggro player, just be aggressive and just check call essentially? I mean, the problem with that is just we can get a lot of really bad, questionable runouts here where we certainly have the best hand. The king of clubs, the jack 10, even ace in some situations where he can have like an ace 9 or ace 4. We just don't know. I think building the pot here versus hands that we beat that he will continue with and winning a bigger pot is just the way to go. But
I agree. And again, we don't want to get. I mean, I don't really. I'm about getting value, and I also think this is a $1,600 buy-in live event, which is a weaker field in general. Those are pretty weak still, and so I want to get it. Marlon says maybe even an overbet. The problem with the overbet, Marlon, is that similar to the hand with the set of 2s with Jonathan Little, is that well, if we go overbet, then we start pushing out the draws.
we start pushing out his 9x, which is just because, I mean, he may be able to continue with king 9 here, ace 9 here in some situations. If he somehow has, jack 9 and we check raise here, he can put us on some weak club draws, jack 10, just some open-ended draws, some gut shots in some cases, if he perceives us as aggressive. So we still have draws that we check raise here as well. So
Absolutely.
that's why.
So it looks like we're all going 6,500. Let's listen to the video.
All right, cool. I'm going to try to, I keep fucking the sound up. I apologize, guys. Let's go.
He likes
The
it.
question here is, do we want to slow play or do we want to start getting money into the pot now? We got about 30,000 back. I keep calling a score at 8 and raising to 6,500 a score at 10. Because we have both a queen and a 9, it makes it less likely our opponent has a good hand to call with. It also weights his range much more towards club draws, backdoor heart draws, hands like king jack of hearts, jack 10 of hearts, jack 8 of hearts. And I think the best play is probably to raise to get money in. People don't like to fold. And so the calling is the best option only when the button is an aggressive player that will barrel frequently. So in game, I thought that was this type of player, so I chose to call to let him to continue barreling it off, make my range look like a 9, a 4, ace high type of hand. Turn is 3 of diamonds. Should we check, bet 2,500, bet 4,000, or bet 6,500?
Interesting. In game, he called and said that was 8 points. So again, it's funny how close some of these decisions are. And
I've done that with some of my quizzes as well, where I made a quiz and I've taken the non-optimal 10-point line, and I chose the worst option in game. When reviewing it, I thought there was a better option.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's why we do this, right? And everyone makes mistakes in game.
Yep. I've definitely done that in a few of my quizzes.
I've been seeing these spots that I keep making this after the stuff we were studying this week with Pio about like the boards that were awkward, that when we have backdoor draws and overs and things, and how like those are better as checks and maybe check raises or check calls versus c-betting those boards. And I found myself 3 or 4 times yesterday c-betting them and losing the pot and having to fold and not getting to realize my equity on the turn and river. And I was so mad I actually have a post-it note right here taped next to my keyboard to stop freaking doing that. So it's always about evolving. So I think that's cool. And but yeah, I mean, it's interesting that one good thing is that he kind of talked about all the points that we talked about. So that we're thinking along the same lines and on the right track, which always makes you feel good.
Yeah, he thought the raise was best, and I mean, I still think it's best. But even though the option may be the best, we still have to take in consideration who our opponents are. So in general, that line is just going to be best versus most of the population. He thought this line was just best versus this guy, you know. So we always got to adapt, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Real quick, Jeff, thanks for hanging out, buddy. We'll be doing this often. I'm going to try and do this either with sixes or without once a week.
Yeah, at
So
least for me as well.
stay tuned for that. Exclamation point PC in either my chat or in Sixes chat to get a link so that you can sign up for either the premium or the free and get your hand on some of these quizzes to run when we're not doing them and improve. So make sure you check those out. And there you go.
What's up, Sebs? What's up, guys? Teaser in the house. So yeah, give a couple shout outs to a couple people hanging out. Appreciate you guys kicking it. But yeah, what do you guys think is best here? He just calls the 16. There's 7,100 out there. And once again, early in the video, kind of a little cheat, he was hammering home how much he didn't like a dunk lead. So he gives a bunch of options again and check. Do we want to, apparently he likes this opponent checking. He likes to check to an aggressive opponent like this. He apparently thinks he's going to bet, but do we change our line and bet?
Yeah, I mean, checking's out of the question, right? Like, we've already 3-betted. To 3-bet and then check is weird, and he's going to check back all his weird stuff, too.
Well, he didn't 3-bet in game here, so this is in game.
Oh, yeah. So
yeah, he didn't. Yeah, this is in game.
Sure, that's a good
point.
point.
He just flatted in game.
As played, even with the flat, I think we still have to check, right? Like, leading here doesn't accomplish anything. All of his bluffs fold, and I don't, what a weird spot. The 3 didn't change anything, so I think I think betting is kind of out of the question myself.
Yeah, I mean, he gives these options, but let's just think about like what happens in game when we take these sizes. We use a small size here. He gets a good price. He plays pretty straightforwardly on rivers where he either improves or he doesn't. We bet him into him twice and he improves or it's club or something like that. We're just going to be in a really tough spot if he decides to raise. If it's a 10 and he decides to raise us, it's a king. There's a lot of bad cards when we decide to lead here and we use a small sizing,
Okay.
And then river comes out bad, we're just going to be in shitty spots. We go too big, we don't get value for much. We condense, I guess sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We get his queen X, but we just condense his value range. So I still think checking, if you're going to take this route, checking again is probably best.
Yeah, I agree. Cyrus says it's fun stuff. I like it. Yeah, this is stuff you guys should be doing on your own as well. This is stuff that Sixes and I do together, 10, 12, 15 hours a week. Team Toe, this is what we do. So, yeah, this is fun. And again, I find it enjoyable as well. We're checking and watch the video.
Well, I mean, I'm saying check. We got a couple contrarians in my chat. Teaser says, when Billin checks turn, now it's devastating that he gets to realize his equity, right? True.
Which is why I lean toward betting pre-flop.
On the
flop,
that's
rather,
why
so that we can then barrel the turn and charge all those draws and get more value. So.
I guess it's interesting. I mean, if I am going to bet here, I think going 4K is probably the best. I think 6,500 is too big. 2.5K is just probably too small. We don't really condense his range at all. He still calls with all of his. At least maybe he folds some draws here if we go 4K.
Yeah, and I think it's okay if the draws call, but we want to make sure we give them a bad price because then if they call or they don't, it doesn't matter. They're making a mistake either way, right?
Yeah,
or I guess they're making a mistake if they call, rather. So, yeah, if I were to lead here, I mean, when you're playing and a guy check calls your small bet on the flop and then leads for like 60% or so, what does that make you think? Like, that's a red flag. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, this is very interesting. Like, how do we play our strong hands out of position when we decide to check call him? So, all right, let's see what Matt has to say here. I'm going to go with check because by default, if I'm going to take this line, it's either 4K or check. Also, I'm kind of biased considering how he didn't like dunk leading early in the video here as well. So
yeah, that too. And Roll Red says, if we check raise flop, are we going 6,500? Yeah, we were going 6,500. And also, I would bet big on the turn because I think all the draws and the random queen X are coming along. So I would go somewhere between 60 and 2/3 pot on the turn had I check raised.
Yep.
All right, so we're checking. Let's hear the video.
Right.
10 points.
You should always be checking here with your range. The only time you want to be leading is a low board pairing card, so a 4 or 9 pairing, or when the flush completer gets there, because we have more clubs than our opponents. We have like hands like deuce 3 of clubs, deuce 5 of clubs that our opponent never has. So on this brick, we're always going to be checking. That's a score of 10, 2,500 1, 4,003, 6,500 5. The button checks back. Turn is the 5 of hearts. Should we check? Bet 2,500, bet 4,500, or bet 8,500.
Hold on. All right, so he does check back the turn. I think if he had a Queen X, okay. Do you want to go ahead? I'm sorry, I was.
No, go ahead. You think if he had a Queen X, he would
No,
have
if I
turned?
think if he had a Queen X, he's always going to be betting turn. He used 40% sizing on the flop, so he's either got some, misdraw. I think he would be bluffing his draw. So he's a weak showdown hand, in my opinion, and I would just target kind of that range and hope to get called by some ace highs, and maybe even give him a chance to raise us by using, one of these two sizes. I'm conflicted between 2,500 and 4,500. Don't think his range is strong enough to go 85, and I don't think he's shown enough aggression or interest on the turn to check.
That's really interesting. I am definitely betting because when he checks the turn, he's always checking river, and that's terrible. So checking out of the question.
Maybe we polarize our range.
Yeah, like I'm 45 or 6,500 for me because I think if we bet 4,500, the random 9x, the worst Queen X, all calling, jacks, 10s, calling for sure.
I just don't think
we might get called by like 8s because like the missed draws are out there again, right? So 8,500 actually seems really sexy to me too because it looks like we're trying to bluff the missed draw. And I also think like we're almost never getting called on this river bet. But when we are, the 8,500, like what does jacks do if you bet 8,500?
I just don't see him having jacks pre-flop, like to a weak player, to a cutoff open. I think
Sure, so
that
jacks
would be in a man.
because
Jacks and tens just don't feel like they're ever going to. I mean, I'm not going to probably lower frequency in his range, right?
Fair. Because those 3-bet pre-flop.
Those should be 3-bet. I mean, I guess we block some of his 9x, so it's going to be like some under pairs and some ace highs we don't block. I don't know if he ever turns his hand into a bluff. He doesn't have much in rep, so I'm like one of these two. This would be cool if I thought his hand was strong enough. Like if it was earlier position and he flatted from mid position, I would have tens and jacks in his range a little bit more than, from here to here, like the positional.
Sure, this deep, I think we could be flatting tens and jacks, but I do think the majority of the public, like I flat tens, and honestly, I flat jacks here a decent amount too. But I think the majority of the player pool raises those hands. So I definitely agree with you there. It's really interesting. God, again, I feel like we're not getting called very much. But when we are, they're at least calling 4,500. But I've really been messing with this 8,500 bet here lately. I ain't gonna lie.
All right, what do you guys think? Don't think he checks back with the queen. We block nines. I like to get small ace. Yeah, I feel same way. Teaser says small. Forgot he caught out of position.
Bunch of my guys are saying 45K. Marlon says, what about 2,500? Then we can check raise. I think you mean bet 2,500 to look weak and hope he comes over the top. The problem with that is when he checks the turn, he's never coming over the top on the 500. I mean, he's always either just going to call or just going to fold. I don't, had he bet turn. So here's a question. Had he bet turn and not check back turn sixes, what would you do if he led like 40 or 60% pot on the turn?
We're not gonna. I mean, then we just hope to check raise when this draw miss. I mean, or he just keeps bluffing. We certainly wouldn't lead into him in the river. So
no. I'm asking, would you check raise turn or would you just call turn if he let out? If he bet
just
double barrel?
I'm probably just gonna call. I think a turn check raise always looks super strong. We're not gonna turn check raise. I mean, we probably check raise all our draws like that on a flop. So we would be essentially turning some of our draws. We'd either have 2 pair, or just range is just too strong.
Interesting.
I think he would keep bluffing, when a lot of draws and things miss. So I would just tend to call and check raise river if I thought strong enough.
That's interesting. I really hear. I know He doesn't want to be called by his Voldemort. Remember we were making fun of him?
Oh yeah, he likes
Just
to,
GTO.
yeah.
I'm trying to use his screen name now because he doesn't want to. He wants to be Voldemort. So I know I could hear just GTO in my head if he
You go
bets the
60%
turn,
just straight.
raising there for sure because. Well,
There
I
used
guess
to
it
be
would
a
be
lot of
different.
river action killing rivers. I just thought we were kind of deep.
And I also think like the guy is not. Oh, there he is. Jay Bertain. He said Justin's cool. I can hear you in my head, Jaybird. I can hear you
I know. I always
saying
hear about it.
like you got to get the value on the turn because if he's got clubs, like if he checks back river, that sucks.
Yeah, it's tough.
We got to get that value, and if he's got a queen, like fuck, I don't want to lose him if a club comes on the river, and I haven't checked that back, right? So for me, like had he led turn, I think we should raise that, and it's also why I raised the flop, like originally, like we did. So then I raise the flop, I see bet turn, and then if he's still there, we can decide if we want to check back river and let him bluff miss flush draws or triple barrel. Then I could definitely see it. So interesting. Here, man, I really want to bet 8,500. But I feel like I have 3 10s in this quiz right now, and I'm scared of losing my perfect score.
I know. I've only got one answer. I've lost 1 point in 2 quizzes. So I'm going to keep... I'm going to say we go 4,500.
Justin Tio says, I'm with you, but
what are you guys thinking?
Because the guy is overly aggressive, definitely check call turn to let him barrel. All right. Fine.
Yep. What size are you guys going in my chat? I'll give you like 10 seconds. Are you guys checking 2,500, 45? Anybody listening, let me know. What do you guys think?
Everybody in my chat said 4,500.
Yeah, okay, everybody said 45. That's kind of, I think 25 is too small.
Definitely.
And I don't think this guy's going to ever find a raise with his range. He just knows his range is too capped to raise by going 25. But we still get called by ace highs and under pairs with 45. 1.5x pots, someone says.
That's 8,500.
Ooh, 45. iJu says 45. Okay. All right, 45. It is. Let's do it. You ready?
God, I want to do 8,500 so bad.
Man up.
Do I just own it?
He's doing it, guys.
I'm doing it. Fuck. I'm doing it. I'm not looking, but I'm doing it.
All right, here we go.
Boom! Yeah.
No!
Let's go.
Your opponent is. Because we have a queen and a 9 in our hand, I thought the most likely hands he could have were like club draws or straight draws. So like king, jack, jack 8, ace high clubs, etc. Maybe he has like a queen 10 offhand that he called and then pot controlled the turn. So I think he'd have some weaker value bets. I think he has some missed draws that he's going to bluff. And so I elected to check. I gave that a score 8. 8,500 gave a score of 10, 4,500 a score of 4, 2,500 a score of 2. If we're going to be betting here, we're going to be pretty polar. We're not really ever betting a 9 and probably only betting like queen 10 plus, queen jack plus. So we're going to be pretty polar here to miss draws in that. This time I went for the check, trying to get him to bluff those hands, and he checks back.
Missed tons of value.
Probably had a hand like ace 5 of clubs. It would make a lot of sense. Ace 3 of clubs. Hit a pair, showdown value. So, river's close. Turn flop is close as well. Didn't work out for us this time, but I don't think it was that poorly of a played hand.
Awesome. We got a 50.
Well played.
Woo! We nailed this one. Extra points to Neckbeard Hirsch. What's up, buddy? Good to see you out there. He got the.
That was good. That was an interesting quiz because once he didn't check raise the flop, it took me to a place in the tree that it was just a little uncomfortable having such a strong hand that's a little vulnerable, and we give like our opponent a chance to kind of dictate the action, to check back some of their draws. We just are hoping he's aggressive enough to keep betting in this spot, on these runouts.
Yeah, and if he did have something like ace 3, ace 5 of clubs, like look how much value we lost by not check raising flop, betting turn. Yeah, we lose him on the river, but we would have got him much more chips.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And he really wanted to polarize his range. It just felt like when he polarizes his range, it just doesn't feel like there's enough hand that's going to call. I guess he was just thinking this opponent may hero off some under pairs and things like that. Just hero off ace high.
Yeah, and it was one of those spots where, no matter what he bet, he was
man.
never calling. So bet big because the times he does call, you get the max value. you know.
I just thought he might find a call with but his underpairs and all that probably wouldn't be betting. His eights, they might have called their sevens,
sevens, eights, and if he
sixes.
did flat with the
Probably
tens and the
just
jacks,
check those
he's
back.
checking flop, right? He should be checking flop if he's capable.
Yeah, so I guess that just makes sense. He could just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought
many
that was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know, is ET out there? Because we just got our first 50. Shout out to ET.
ET in the streets. Interesting. Why so big? Idrew says. Well, he wanted to go big to really polarize his range, where he's going to have either a queen X in his range or the number of missed club draws and missed straight draws, which are going to be in his range here in the big blind, to get some calls occasionally, some hero calls from some pairs from this guy. Is pretty much why.
Yeah, and also
don't
like we
know.
mentioned too, he played this hand differently than
He
thought he should
scored
in
for
game,
himself.
right? So he put himself in this weird spot and had to kind of make him, do a weird dance because of it.
Right.
Jaybird says best hands in his turn checking range have to call river bet or he'll get crushed. So his single pair hands have to find some calls, because of all the missed draws out there. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got time for maybe one more?
I got time for another 45 minutes before I got to roll because it's Little Toe's birthday. But
okay.
I booked until 40. I can do 45 minutes. I know if you got something to do, I got as much time as you need.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, let's see. I
I'm
think
having
the
fun.
quizzes have been taking about a half an hour or so each. So
One more?
yeah, let's do one more.
All right, let's do one more.
I can't. We gotta have a winner today. No, I'm kidding. Somebody's got to win the challenge.
Oh yeah, we have to have a rubber match. Oh, damn it.
Oh shit.
I pushed back and didn't click next quiz and it took away my points. Jaybird fixed it.
It didn't happen.
It
didn't happen.
I got it on VOD. I got it on VOD. That is funny as hell. All right, let me stop this video. All right, so it looks like J4 off with the small blind. Jonathan Little hand again. Another 3K WSOP. Gonna play the video.
Ooh, Jack 4 off in the small blind. This should be good.
Like I already know what I'm doing. I don't even see the video. I already know what I'm doing.
All right, I'm about to play it. You ready?
Yep.
We're going.
Here we have the beautiful Jack 4 offsuit on day 2 of a $3,000 buy-in tournament at the World Series of Poker. This is the very first hand of the day. Everyone folds to you in the small blind. The button folded here. Should we fold, call, raise to 3,000, or raise to 4,000?
Cool. Cyrus says folding. To be honest, I think folding is not going to be that much different from what I would do. I'm raising this hand. I raise my junkie. I raise my good stuff. Everything in the middle, I tend to limp call or limp kind of decide. So for me, this is going to be 3K.
So he didn't have any information on this player. He just said this is day 2 of a 3K to start.
Yeah,
don't know
and
for
it's
money or
24
anything
second
like
little
that.
intro, so he didn't have very much of a read, obviously.
Just call.
Just call.
I mean, we'd have no. We're just gonna be in this weird ass spot once he flats. I don't know.
I'm gonna raise and I'm gonna see bet. I told you I already knew what I was
I
doing.
hote that worked. I mean, I
already knew what I was doing with this hand.
If this was $11 10K or some shit like that all day, just mash. But in this day 2, I think we can just flat and see. Play post flop.
Yeah, interesting. Jaybird has a fun competition idea. Whichever streamer, you or me, gets a higher score on the 3 quizzes, the other streamer has to do a giveaway. So I would have to do a giveaway for the streamers in your chat if you win, and you would have to do a giveaway for the streamers in the viewers in my chat if I win. Very interesting.
All right.
I like
we can do that. We ain't starting this today. If
that was the case. He's scared.
He's scared.
You heard
He
it.
said, it starts right here. He's scared. He said, "Fuck it, let's go. Man up."
Jaybird likes to raise to 4K. Nick Deckbird says raise versus type player, limp folding against a reg. That's what he likes. Not today, but it'll be fine. I am 100% down if you want to do that. going forward, that's fine.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it every time. I mean, today, next time, that's fine.
Cool.
That sounds like fun.
Where do you lie in this guy?
I'm on team Just Call. What do you guys think?
Oh, you said just call. My bad.
Yeah, anybody in my chat? Is everyone raising? This hand sucks, really, but
Some guy said it's player dependent. I agree. If it's super aggro guy,
definitely-
I might just fold. I could see limping as well.
yeah, with this circumstance, and
passive
it's,
guy.
Just Calls. Bennett says,
Kind of like I said, like I'm the kind of guy that's going to touch the iron before I, if I don't know anything, I'm going to raise, and if it gets crazy, I'm going to take a note and then maybe not raise the time.
right, yeah, just see how they proceed. So we're just gonna call here.
Get the
I'm
note.
gonna
Pay for the note. All right, you're calling, we're raising. Everyone in my chat said raise 4K. I was on 3K. But I'll go with
No.
chat. I'll go with the chat. 8.
In this scenario, you
Best
really
answer is
only
to
have
call.
two good options. You can either call or you can raise on the bigger side. If you raise small to 3,000 or 2,400, your opponent's going to call you almost every single time, and you don't really want to get called every single time when you have the Jack 4 offsuit. So, in this scenario, from the small blind, you want to be raising with a polarized range, which is going to be your best hands and your junk, and this is actually pretty close to your junk. That said, I just do a whole lot of limping from the small blind. It makes it to where your opponent can't read into your strategy at all. It also really makes your limping range strong to where you can't get raised all that often. And limping, putting in only 600 chips to win a pot of 3,400, right? I mean, you don't have to win very often at all. And Jack 4 offsuit, even from out of position, will win often enough. So I typically prefer limping. So we do limp, opponent checks, flop comes 10-9-8, giving us the open-ended straight draw. Should we check, bet 1,400, bet 2,800, or bet 4,200?
Interesting. Marlon says touch the iron. He's laying on the iron. Yeah, so really interesting. John mentioned that he likes to limp a lot, small blind versus big blind. So I do think there is some argument. I mean, that's why this was an 8 versus a 10, is that there is some argument that it's a style difference here, right? Like I like to be aggressive and more from the blinds, and he likes to, pot control more.
Yeah, I think in a situation like this, we do want to just limp a lot of our range. We just know general population, and we can run over some of these fields, and people just play so poorly post flop that we can just bet on certain textures and take it down. But in these cases, I think it's very detrimental to lose 3, 4, 5 big blinds at this state in the tournament. So yeah, just playing smaller pots and trying to take advantage would be good. In this spot, I probably think we should just be checking. I think leading out here, when he does call and we brick, we end up not being able to double barrel much. But here, he may stab and give up. I don't know. I think maybe just check calling with this equity, other than betting big, accomplishes nothing. Stabbing small and getting raised, I guess we can call, maybe betting 1,400 to fold out king highs, but I'm probably just check calling.
Yeah, a bunch of people in my chat, if you're out there, talk up. A few of them said lead, bet 1.4. New York Miser said,
What do you guys think?
I would check and play, but he plays small anyways. Sixes is checking. I am going to wait for chat to catch up for a second and give them an option before I spoil it, but I do have an opinion. Tough spot, maybe took bet line, says Jaybird. Interesting.
Anybody betting? We do block with jack. Do block some straight draws, but I don't know. I mean, you just check call one.
Yeah, for me.
But then we're at the mercy of his sizing, which is higher variance, so we could just go 4K here, and then we're like shit, when we could bet 1,400, get some folds, or bet a size, get some folds, and have control of the pot.
Yeah, some people are saying it depends on how aggro he is, but the problem is we don't have any information on this player, and a lot of times we're playing in a vacuum and we don't know, right? So we have to be prepared for that. Torspin says he's check raising. I am checking for sure. I'm a little surprised Jaybird said that it might go bet because Jaybird's the reason why I started checking these boards more often, because he said he's excited to see what JL says. Because like you said, like getting raised here sucks. So now the question is looking a little bit forward, are we check raising or check calling?
If we're trying to forecast it, it's kind of tough to say. It just depends on the sizing. If he goes 4K, you're really just gonna get it in,
No, but what if he goes
and
like
12K.
1800? Are we check raising then? See, that's where we're 31 bigs. Like if I had 20 bigs, it's check raise.
I don't think so
check
because he could still just find calls, and then we're playing an open-ended out of position with we're just playing an open-ended pot out of position. I don't think I would check raise. But.
Neckbird says I don't think getting raised is the worst. Call one street, give up bets on turn. The problem there is like I kind of want to realize my equity with this hand. If I was super deep, snap check call, and then evaluate turn. 31 bigs is what's kind of throwing me a little bit. But we all agree check. So should we do that first and see what happens?
Anybody in my chat doing anything other than check? Anybody betting one of these options? I'm just curious. Anybody betting 42, 28, 14? Sevs thinks he's checking. Kind of agree, buddy.
That's fair enough. I'm still going.
I'm going to hit check.
Screw it.
You ready?
Marlon says if you limp the blinds more often, doesn't that make you more susceptible to being bet or raised from the big blind? If we're going to be limping more, wouldn't it be better folding? I think you need a mixed approach, and I think it does depend on your opponent. I think if you limp a lot, you should be limp leading a lot, which effectively means limp from the small blind, and then really bet 1 blind to 1.5 blinds on almost any flop, and you'll be amazed at how often that works. While it's a very effective tool to have in your limp no lead is live. Don't limp no lead. But if you limp lead, you'll realize that it's really effective, but it might not be the way to win the most chips. So while it's a good option, it might not always be your best option.
Right.
Let's go with more options here. I'll go with bet 2800, looking to go bet. Jaybird just throwing out controversy.
Trying to throw out some clouds. Yeah, we got check. I got check. It's not a dunk lead because he didn't raise. I think it just would be a lead in this spot. Drew says 1400, and someone says stacks are so weird, it's making it tough. Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna just go with check.
Me too. Let's see what happens.
Right.
Ooh, he likes the bet.
Pretty good. In this scenario, given the board is pretty well coordinated, I think we need to be betting on the medium to big side. So I think a bet of about 2800 is pretty nice. That's going to make our opponent fold out some gut shots. Essentially, in this scenario, I don't really care if my opponent folds, because whatever my opponent folds has equity. Even if I had a hand like ace-10, my opponent has plenty of equity with even a random 9 or an 8 or a 7 or even a 6, right? So I think if I bet 1400, we're going to get called a little bit too often, which will force us into triple barreling, which, could be fine. We're not opposed to triple barreling. And if I bet bigger, like 4200, I'm not actually sure if I need to be triple barreling all the time because my opponent's range may be so strong. So I think a bet of 2800 gives us some immediate fold equity, whereas a smaller bet does not. And it essentially just gives us fold equity. Fold equity is great when you have the jack high, right? So I think I like 2800. I'm not going to check here. If I am checking, it's to check raise. But check raising on this board is very dicey because then we're putting in a lot of money in a spot where our opponent could just have a strong hand.
Yeah.
I bet 1400 this time, though, and I think that's a bit of a mistake. Because our opponent's going to call us a lot with anything. Because they're great pot odds, right? You have to realize, every time you're offering your opponent 1400 into a 6800 total pot, are they really folding much of anything here? Probably not. Turns a king. Should we check, bet 3000, bet 6000, or bet 9000?
So someone said that's why Justin's number 1, because at the last minute he said 2800. That is why Justin's number 1. That is why Sixes and I both spend so much time studying with Justin. He's in our group. That's why we love him.
Yeah, in this spot we can't really just go check call because we're gonna just end up folding unimproved 100% of the time on a turn. When we do go check call, fuck me.
Yeah, and he did say it's a weird spot. If we had 25 bigs, like just slightly less, right, we could check jam potentially.
It's just check jamming. It would be optimal here, but it just seems like a lot,
Yeah.
to check jam. So he does use a larger sizing, which I can get behind that, which makes a lot of sense. We're just trying to maximize fold equity. We don't care if he continues or if he folds something weaker or anything, so that's good. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I learned something.
Jaybird says true, but in game JL bet 1400, but that's because you were better than him today, Jaybird. Um, God, what am I doing here? I think that if we bet here, we need to bet this card. This is a good bluff card. Get the 9, the 8, and weak ass 10s to potentially fold.
Well, we probably fold it right. I mean, this probably goes over bet.
So yeah, I think 3K definitely not the size, right?
Oh hell no. We don't check. We block queen jack. We put a lot of pressure on his 7x, 8x, 9x, weak ass 10x as well. So yeah, I think we just use a massive sizing here on a turn, and if we get called unimproved, probably just give up. But
So is massive 6K or 9K?
yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide.
Jaber says if we're betting, we have to go very polar.
I mean, I was thinking 9K initially. If we're gonna like this card is just a nut. Like if I was in game, I'd be about pot.
That's
pot
6K, right?
Like this.
That's right in this range, right?
I mean, pot to 9K.
So I was just doing the math. If we bet 6K and get called, there's 18-8 in the pot, and we have 28. So we don't really have like the pot size jam on the river. So I guess that would make me go 9K. I ain't gonna lie, like I never do this in game, but trying to think and learn from this, I think 9K makes the most sense.
Yeah, I use overbets. Not as much as I should, but enough.
I definitely use them. I tend to use them more on the river than the turn, though, personally.
Turns, yeah. I'm gonna say overbet.
9K.
Overbizzle.
Let's see what happens.
What are you saying?
I'm going 9K.
3,000.
When the turn
He likes
brings
the
an
small
overcard,
bet. Weird. Let's find out.
This is a spot where when the turn brings an overcard, we are pretty much always going to be betting again. If it brought an ace or a king, those are both obviously scary if our opponent had one pair. If it brought a queen, we have a straight. If it brings a jack, well, we're probably checking a jack because then we have top pair, which is a very clear marginal hand. So we're going to keep betting. Now I want to make a bet that either gets me a lot of immediate fold equity to where I don't need to bluff the river. I don't want to bluff the river because my opponent's range is so strong. Or I need to bet a smaller sizing, setting up a river triple barrel. So either 3,000 or 6,000 is pretty nice. I don't think we need to bet 9, because if I bet 9 and get action, I'm just going to be in bad shape, like I'm just dead. But if I bet 6 and get called, I mean, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, and I probably should give up the river. And for that reason, I like betting 3, because betting 3,000 does give us some immediate fold equity. Some people will fold pairs. And when they do call, I think we still have the potential to barrel on a lot of turns, because if our opponent's range to call a turn bet is most pairs, maybe even some random hands like ace-7, then we have potential to continue bluffing. And obviously, this is a hand we will probably be bluffing on the river. I don't like checking. Some people may view this king as scary, but I don't really think it's all that scary. Because when our opponent calls our flop bet, clearly they could have all sorts of pairs with junky draws. So this is a spot where the turn looks scary, but it actually is not that scary. Anyway, we're going to be betting. The question is 3 or 6. I think either one is acceptable. And this time we do 3,000, and the opponent calls. River's a 7. We don't need to bluff anymore. Should we check? Bet 5,000.
J-Littles are always tough, man.
15,000.
So let me turn the volume down here a little bit. Yeah, so really interesting spot. And he brings up a good point. I was saying bet large so that we could jam as a triple barrel bluff on the river, not expecting the 7 to come, obviously. But he said that when we bet big, he brings up an interesting point that we narrow the ranges to hands that just crush and probably aren't folding. So the triple barrel doesn't work there. He says bet small so that we can afford to triple. Jared says boo. Jonathan Little's like knit. But yeah, really interesting spot. Interesting how we both kind of like.
I think he made a good
very
point about but I think that would be the point for me to just condense his range just to the point where he's going to need the top of it. But we're in really bad shape, and it costs us a lot of chips. He's just still trying to get immediate fold equity from under pairs. They're 8-4, 8-5. Queen. Damn, I'm just thinking of like hands that continue that we get folds from for 3K.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I think about is like being new to the poker coaching team with Jonathan Little. Jonathan Little hasn't learned that like when you're me, the fucking 7's always coming. I have toe equity. So bet big because you're going to jam the river because it's always coming. That's how I make all my money. So we need to school JL on some toe equity. But yeah, what's the pot here? 12, 8, and our choices are what?
Yeah.
5K, 10K, or 15K?
Yeah, 5, 10, or 15 here. We made the straight. There's still so many 2-pair combos.
Yeah. Betting always the option, right? Never checking.
Oh, I'm not checking.
Me either. So
Does he turn his hand into a bluff ever when we check on this board? Probably not.
no.
I think he finds a check back with too many of his 1-pair hands and things like that. Going small, we get called by practically every single 1-pair hand. But I think he can have enough 2-pair and stronger hands that I want to use one of these 2 bets. Is kind of where I'm at on this run out when he calls 2 bets from the big blind. He can have enough 6x. He can have so many 2-pair combos as well, 7, 8, 9, 7, 10, 7. So 10 or 15K is kind of where I'm at.
Cyrus in my chat says 5K is value, 10K looks super strong, 15K looks bluffy. I think that what I'm doing here is I'm trying to extract value from 2-pair hands. And I think most everything else is folding. I think no matter what we bet here, the random 8, the random 9 is just folding. But 9, 7,
Right.
9, 8, potentially 8, 10. King 10 probably raises the turn, so I don't think that's out there. And maybe, I think all the 2 pairs probably raise the turn because they're scared of the straight cards. So, but I always want to go value. I feel like 15K is a little bit weird to bet half my stack.
It's just too much.
So I'm kind of leaning toward 10 myself.
Yeah, Snos is here. He's saying 5K when we're taking this line to get all 9 straight hands to pay us off. If we go 10K, maybe we start losing some of the weakest 2 pairs. I think that's a fair assumption at some points when we're betting out of position on a 4-line board into the big blind who has some combos we should be afraid of. When we're still making large bets, it does kind of look very scary to this range, right? And I think we lose like Queen 10, 100% sure, because we don't have a lot of bluffs in this spot.
I do agree that we lose Queen 10, but this is one of those spots too where there's a $3,000 buy in WSOP event where I think the field is a little better. If you're playing the $11 7.5K, bet the shit out of this because they're always calling and they're never folding the weak 2 pairs. So I think it's a little bit of knowing your audience there. But yeah, I mean, it's not to a point. I'm always pounding for value, if I'm honest. But I can see the 5K argument. I'd hate, yeah, but I can see the 5K argument.
It's very close. It feels like Jonathan with his bet sizing on the turn. It feels like he's going to go about 5K here as well. It feels like Jonathan is going to go 5.
Cyrus says
because when he goes 3 on the turn, it makes me feel like he still thinks this opponent's going to be calling off with single pair and weak hands as well for another street.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like we went bet small, bet small, bet small. That looks value as fuck to me.
King Jack. King Queen. They may have floated. King 7, King 8, King 9, King 6. All hands he can have in his range when he calls on a turn as well.
Neckbeard says he wants to bet 7.5K. Let's add another button.
7.5K.
I actually kind of love that.
Very good. All right.
12 points for Neckbeard. Real quickly, who was that?
I was thinking 10.
Downverse, thank you for the follow.
All right, you ready? What do you?
I'm going 10K because I don't want to lie. 10K, 8 points.
5K, I was going 5.
Not really
I'm not. Well, you already clicked.
Oh, sorry.
I ruined it.
You said
pretty
5.
Big
Okay.
on the river, like 10,000. But when it brings this card, now I want to be
Snoss
betting
gets
a
10
size that
points.
I think I can
He's a
get
beast.
called by a worse hand. And I think if I bet 10,000 now, we're gonna have a pretty difficult time getting called by too many worse hands. Obviously, if our opponent has like a set or maybe a good 2 pair, they're gonna call. But most likely, the opponent's sitting here with 1 pair. If the opponent has 1 pair, then they're gonna have a pretty tough time calling 10,000. That's for sure. And if they have even 2 pair, like say they have 8-7, they may have a hard time calling 10,000 as well. So I think either 5 or 10,000 is the best sizing. As you want to be more and more balanced,
Yep.
I think you want to use a bigger sizing like 10,000. But I think in most games against most players, I think 5,000 is going to be better. Just because when you're trying to target or trying to get called by a weak range, betting small will allow those weak hands to call you. Whereas if you bet big, a lot of those weak hands will just say, well, I don't have very much right now, so I guess I'm going to fold. So I like a 5,000 bet here. I do bet 5, and we get the call, and we win.
Nice, yeah, and I do think that 5K is probably best in the bigger buy-in stuff, and you can go bigger in the lower buy-in stuff. I do kind of stick to that because I do think 7/8's always calling, and $11 and under, $22, $33. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely see it. This one was a rough quiz. I actually kind of like this one because we both kind of struggled.
Well, I initially said 10, and then like someone in the chat opened up the eyes, and it makes a lot of Snost, brought a good point. Like, we still want to get called by single pair hands, and he's still getting such a great price. And Jonathan brought up how he wants to keep in worse hands on the turn and what kind of price he's giving opponents. So yeah, I think it was very good.
Yeah, and I think in game I would play this much differently. I would raise pre, check call flop.
Which were both mistake.
Depending on the bet size, check fold turn or check call a lot of turns, and then bomb river.
Yeah, that would have been mistake.
That wasn't too bad.
I mean, but it's relative to what stakes and what players and what opponents. Yeah, that's true. Just make a big sizing. But yeah, I mean, it does make a lot of sense to just go small here and try to get every single one pair and the weakest 2-pair hands to call. Because when we go big and when we're doing this out of position versus this range in game, like, they're just going to need to have such a fucking strong range to continue. So I think that was very good, man. I think that was good.
Yeah, well, how many points do you end up with?
29.
Bastard! 25. Damn it!
What are you gonna get my chat?
Get my chat.
They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol. All
right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR giveaway.
A $10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. We'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then we'll do it every week a couple times. But yeah, he's gonna run a giveaway for my chat. So I guess I'll just throw a command in the chat. We'll spin it, and Toe will pay out the winner.
Yep.
Let me
come over to your stream real quick.
Yeah, I'll have to set it up. I haven't ran a giveaway in a minute. So let me set this up real quick, and then we'll have a keyword and spin it. But yeah, you guys, Sean asked if I was a member here. Yes, I'm a member. I have the premium membership, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah, guys, you bring up a good point. If you guys enjoy these quizzes, want to get some of the quizzes on your own, you can sign up for premium, which is about $40 a month, or there is some free options for you as well. So !PC in my chat, !PC in Sixes chat, whichever chat you happen to be in. You can click that link and go check them out yourself. Do some of these on your own. Sixes and I are going to be trying to do these at least once a week, either together or individually. I thought this went well. Yep. I'm open to both. And so stuff for that. Thank you for coming along, guys, and don't go away just yet. We're going to kick over to Sixes stream.
And then I'm going to do that. I'm going to spin. I'm going to do a giveaway, run a giveaway real quick for 10 ACR doll hairs. I haven't done this in a minute, so give me a second. Hey, Neckbeard. Thank you for that follow, Neckbeard. Her Stranger Thing. Thank you as well. Yeah, you must be a follower of my stream and Toes.
Yeah, guys, we didn't say that though. You got to click the follow button in both streams. Make sure you go out and do that little heart-shaped icon right about there on your screen. It's free. It's a great way to support all streamers.
All right, the keyword will be exclamation point poker coaching. Get in there, 10 ACR dollars. Let's see.
And just make it like a zero cost so everyone can get in there.
Oh yeah, I don't have that. Poker coaching 4. We'll give it like a minute or two, let people get in there. But yeah, we should try to do this on Saturdays, man. I really enjoy doing this. I mean, I learned something today. You know, we're learning every single time, and these quizzes, man, they're great.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think they're great too. And it's great for everybody, great for us to get some more hours in. And yeah, it wasn't very like big of a commitment or anything like that. It was fun. I thought it went great.
Yeah. We have our own quizzes launching, just as a reminder, like next week on the site. You know, myself and Toe are going to be creating some of these as well. So yeah, be sure to we'll be sure to check those out, man. That'll be fun.
Yeah. Both of us have already put some quizzes in the can. That should be on there next week. That's,
all right, here we go.
That's insider lingo, in case you didn't know.
Get in there, guys. I've only got 10 people in there. Get in there. Poker coaching. I'm going to roll it. You have another minute to get in there for 10 ACR dollars, courtesy of the man, the myth, the legend, GodsBigToe.
How Toe loses bankroll? He's such a bankroll net. All these fucking poker coaching streams, man.
He kept losing side bets to sixes. Oh, shit. Good times. Yeah, we're going to do it more, man. I'm going to try to do it before my streams occasionally, like do a quiz or so, because I really do think it's a good warm-up, not just dog. I think it's cool to think through the situations, and I always pick up little things and little pointers, and Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I always love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
Right. All right, guys, this is it. I'm about to roll it. Here it is. Anybody else? Vice Chicks in there. How to enter. Bennett.
Type !! Poker coaching in the chat.
Type. Yeah. Would you see everyone? Just do what everyone else is doing.
Just do
That's a surefire way to get in there. Like all these guys typing in poker coaching. Yeah, get in there.
Am I allowed to enter the giveaway to try to win my own $10 back?
Hell no.
Hell.
Hell no. Make sure you have mods clicked. Oh shit. Boom. You're in. Oh wow. There we go. All right, 21. We're rolling it now. 10 ACR dollars. Make sure to whisper Toe your name and rolling it. Mike Cash with the dub.
What?
Mike Cash with the dub. I see you, Mike Cash.
Mike, send me your screen name. I know it's
Yeah,
run
look
so
at
fast,
that.
but I don't know if there's any
Woo.
numbers at the end of it. And I will send you your $10, buddy. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike. Thank you for that support, buddy. And yeah, spin it up, my dude. All right, man.
All right, brother. It was good to
I'm
see
gonna
you.
get out here. Good to talk to you, man. I'm sure I'll be talking to you here soon.
Look how fancy that new room looks. You need
I know, it's so nice, dude. This house is awesome.
You
I
need some
love
shit
it.
on your walls. Look at all this stuff.
I do, man. I'm still unpacking. So yeah, I love it here, man. Lucky.
You need a picture of the tag team up there.
The
Maybe
picture
like
of
a
the tag
framed Toe t-shirt.
team. Yeah. I do have. I should have rocked my Toe t-shirt today. We'll have to make a bet. I'll rock a Toe t-shirt or something like that on stream.
I don't know if
For
you're
one
watching
of
me, but
these,
I'm wearing mine.
I'm wearing mine. Yeah, you missed the giveaway, Dibs. Damn.
I'm gonna put pressure on
All
the PCcoach.com guys through in the chat too. Like maybe we could pressure them into giving some swag away to give away on one of these streams.
Yeah, some patches and stuff, man.
That'd be
I think
dope.
it's out there. Oh, one other thing is you guys can check out the site. They're also launching a backing program or staking for some live tournament staking. So I would say, I don't know if there's anywhere on the site to check that out, but check out pokercoaching.com. They are starting to do some staking for some players as well, where there's an application process. Got to be a member, but they are staking players to live tournaments. It's going to be awesome. I would say check that out if you guys are looking for staking and to also get better, man. It's a great resource, and I'm glad to be a part of it. But
Yeah, I agree. I forgot about the staking part, but
yeah.
I'll position that too once I get more details for you guys. But absolutely, !PC in either his chat or my chat. It was fun, man.
Yep.
All
right, buddy.
Talk
Good talking to
Talk
you.
tomorrow.
Yep. See you, bud.
See ya.
Yep. All right, I want to